Our patient and hard-working friends over at sim.gg recently updated their data to include the current patch 1.2 values. With all the various nerfs and buffs that arrived with 1.2, I spent some time playing around investigating which weapons now have the fastest TTKs and what this actually meant in live play. Now straight off the bat, I'm going to exclude all the shotguns, all the snipers and the Ghostmaker R10 crossbow. Why? Simply because all of these weapons are capable of an instant kill. Some are vaguely balanced and range limited, and others absolutely require more work. Whether or not there even should be weapons capable of a one-shot kill is a hot topic for another day, but what I will say is that if you're using any of the shotguns, you're very likely a complete sadist, and please leave the rest of us alone. I've split the rankings into two categories based on range, firstly from 0 to 50 meters, close to mid-range, and then 50 to 100 meters, mid to long range. The most obvious change at close to mid-range is the disappearance of the overused and much beloved K30 and M5A3. Both are still very viable, but neither are top of the tree at close range anymore. Instead, at third place we see the return of the perennial workhorse, the AC-42 assault rifle. Once overpowered beyond belief, the AC-42 has still managed to maintain a respectable relevance despite a much needed nerf. Now with some competition out of the way, it's crept back up towards the top and still feels relatively balanced thanks to being limited to burst fire only. Next in line is the popular but never dominant PBX-45 SMG. For those of you looking to replace the M5A3, look no further. I have it on good authority from people in the know that the PBX is modelled on a variant of the same weapon frame as the M5A3, which can explain why it feels so familiar in comparison. Despite having a slower rate of fire, it comfortably edges the M5A3 now with a better damage profile out to 30 meters, and pretty much runs neck and neck up to 50 meters. Finally, in top spot at close to mid-range with the fastest TTK of any weapon which isn't capable of instant kills, it's a somewhat surprising VCAR DMR. All the DMRs received a significant buff in Season 1 which helped propel the VCAR up to the top of the leaderboard. For those of you that know Bandit and Green Machine, they've been singing the gun's praises since the game launched, but it's also a great example of how theoretical TTK doesn't always translate into practical use. I say that largely because I completely suck with it. As a semi-auto weapon only, the VCAR certainly sets a skill gap. People with lightning trigger fingers will certainly find it easier to adapt, but will still need to make sure they land every shot to execute an eye-watering 201 millisecond TTK. Moving on to the mid to long range list, we find the AC-42 again holding its own. You can stick with the standard rounds, but if you want to fully extend that damage potential out to 100 meters, you will need to equip the high power rounds, trading off a smaller mag size and increased recoil for better damage drop off and faster bullet velocity. Despite receiving a nerf to both recoil and damage drop-off in patch 1.2, the BSVM is still causing something of a headache in the game. A combination of decent firepower, full auto fire rate and stealth options means that it's still an all too familiar sight on the battlefield and regularly dominates engagements out in the open. The only thing keeping it vaguely in check is a massive drop-off past 75 meters, but otherwise, it's still very much good to go. With only a couple weeks left of Season 1 and expecting more updates around the corner with Season 2, we may well be seeing further changes to the BSVM. The happy recipient of a completely unnecessary buff in Season 1, the SVK is still a staggering 2-shot kill all the way out to 100 meters and a very respectable TTK of 274 milliseconds. The VCAR by comparison requires at least 3 to 5 shots to land to bag a kill from full health, whereas just one shot from the SVK to an already damaged player is usually enough to get the finish. It's not very often you find people using this on the field at the moment, and is certainly worth a try if you haven't already. An honourable mention goes out to the SVAR MGL. Although it doesn't appear in either of these lists, it does hover around the edges of both with a very tight and hard-hitting damage profile at all ranges and scores points for versatility. The real standout for me at the moment is the AC-42, which is the only weapon to appear on both lists and may see its way to becoming my go-to weapon again. I've got plenty of thoughts about Season 1 and also the overall state of the game, but I'll leave those for another time. These are currently the strongest weapons in Season 1. Let's hope Season 2 brings some positive changes. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Until next time, be good to each other.